Joel, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Can you see me?
I can see you fine. I can hear you reasonably well, I think.
Okay.
I think it's working. Yep. There we are.
Awesome.
We got everything going here.
Perfect. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, super. Am I going to be able to share my screen? Is that
Yes,
possible?
absolutely.
Because it's strange. What I'm seeing is not what I usually see on the format is not giving me that option here, which normally it would. So I'm just trying to see why that is.
Bottom
No.
of the...
Okay, let's try this. Maybe this is the reason it's hiding. Let's see if it's hiding here. Give me 2 seconds.
Well, Joel, you're trying to figure that out. Welcome again, and it's great to see you today.
Great, thanks, Katie.
There we go.
Can you guys see that? Okay.
Absolutely.
What I just wanted to do is run a quick Zoom video, which I think our story is heavily, I think, visually oriented. So for the people participating today, I just wanted to run this. So let's see if this runs. If you could, Romain, jump in and let me know if there's any problem with the feed once it starts to run so that I know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's give it a try. We have sound and video. Thank you. It works. Do we have sound?
Great. Hopefully that actually came across okay. It ran all right there, Romain.
A little bit choppy, but not too bad actually.
Okay.
Better than on the other side.
You never know when you run something through Zoom. It's always hit and miss. Well, the reason I wanted to share that with your audience is to, just give you an idea of the scope of what we have built. That video was created back towards the end of last year. While we were still under construction. If you were to see the field, you could see the pots. There are about 22,500 pots over 18 acres out there. you could actually see the field today. There is a black tarp that goes on the ground underneath the pots. You cannot see the black tarp anymore because of the green canopy. Those plants are now over 7 feet tall, extraordinarily healthy, and will be ready for cultivation within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we've had a very, very successful first grow season, and we'll be moving towards the cultivation here in middle of August in our operation up there in Christina Lake, and then we'll begin our extraction phase starting in mid-September and going through towards October, November. And of course, PD and your team have been helpful in getting some of the right people in place. We right now have approximately 35 employees on staff. We'll be continuing to grow that, not only in our cultivation department, but in our extraction department and in our sales department as well. So that's our plan over the course of the balance of the year. What I can tell you is that Christina Lake, for those who don't know where it is, it's located in the very south portion of British Columbia, just past Osoyoos. If you know where Osoyoos is, it's in the Kootenays. It is a long time cultivation area, outdoor cultivation area for the cannabis industry in what we refer to, of course, as the legacy industry in the old days, we'll call it. And it has produced historically some of the best cannabis that's been sold anywhere in the world. So what we do is we grow a very, very high grade quality of cannabis. We do it very, very inexpensively. Our costs are in the 25 cent to 40 cent per gram region, so a fraction of what you would see from indoor and greenhouse cannabis. And that's positioned us really to be in a place to significantly disrupt the cannabis industry. When we come to market with our 15,000 to 20,000 kilograms of cannabis here in the fall this year, we expect that we are going to have a tremendous pricing advantage over everybody else in the industry, including the large companies that you're all familiar with, the Canopies and the Auroras and so on. So we expect that our name will become well known very, very quickly, although it's not well known right now. We also have the capacity, as you could see from the video, we have an extraction building, about a 14,000 square foot building. We have 2 extraction systems in the building. They're both CO2 based, so that we can extract not only the cannabis that we're growing on our 20 acres, but also a supply of hemp that we have secured from Saskatchewan. We have about 25,000 kilos of hemp that we expect to extract this year as well. So we expect to be leaders, up there with the Valens, if you're familiar with them, Metafarms, as some of the leaders in Canada at the extraction side of the business as well. So we're looking and expect to look for trained, experienced people also in the extraction part of the business to continue to help us to grow that side of our business. And then in terms of downstream, we also expect to eventually, not in our first year, but down the road 12, 18 months as we prepare for our second crop, we also expect to start to move towards some downstream products. So initially we will produce full spectrum oil. We'll also have the ability to go beyond that to distillate and isolate, and also to isolate the terpenes. We will sell on a wholesale basis in our first year, but expect to start to acquire and develop our own products as time goes on and expand out that side of our business. So there's tremendous opportunity with our company there as well. What I should mention, just in terms of the organization, we have 4 founders. The 4 founders who all live in the Christina Lake area and operate out of our facility up there. All came from the legacy business. They are all well entrenched in the community. We have tremendous community involvement. For example, the mayor of Grand Forks, which is about 20 kilometers away from Christina Lake, is one of our major investors. We also have the head of the Christina Lake Regional District is a major investor. And we have almost 400 people in the Christina Lake area who are shareholders in our company. So we've had extraordinary community support. We've had no opposition within the community, and the construction side of the project has gone very, very smoothly. We employ many of our people from Christina Lake, but we've also had people that we've brought in, some with the help of CanMar from outside Christina Lake. It's a beautiful area. It's probably one of the most pretty areas in all of Canada if you enjoy the outdoors. And so we've been very successful in recruiting people up to Christina Lake because of the quality of life and the community support that we enjoy there. I myself, you can probably see out the window, I'm here in Vancouver. Some of our people in the sales side of it and the operations side of it are not in Christina Lake. So as far as people that we're looking to attract to our company, and as we build our team out, it's not necessary in some elements of the business that you be in Christina Lake. It could be that you could be in Vancouver or out east. We operate largely through various channels such as Zoom, such as Microsoft Teams. So we have a very distributed management team and advisory team within the company. Approximately, just to give you an idea in terms of investment, we've had close to $20 million has gone into the project. I have very, very loyal investors. Some of my investors have been there for 3 or 4 rounds of finance with the company. And there's a unique opportunity in that we are setting ourselves up to list our shares. We intend to take our shares to market here over the next number of months. So as people come and join us, there's an opportunity to get a very substantial and meaningful equity position within the company. And all of our current employees, right down to our growers and the people that are working in the field, are shareholders in the company, which is something that we're very, very proud of. And the biggest shareholders in the company aren't professional managers like myself. They're the principals who work up there that founded the company and who continue to build and grow the company on our behalf, which I'm also proud to say. So that really sums it up from my perspective. I think gives you a 30,000 foot level, well, maybe a 5,000 foot level with the drone idea of what Christina Lake looks like and what our company looks like, and a little bit on what our vision is as we move forward in the future. Romain, I don't know if
sorry.
Trying to connect.
Say I'd be happy to. I don't know if we have any questions. I'd be happy to field questions. If somebody wished me to go in a different direction in terms of the explanation, I'd also be happy to do that.
Absolutely. We have a few questions coming in on the Q&A section at the bottom. I can read a few for you if you'd like to answer.
Sure.
So what sort of remote roles are you looking to hire for?
I think what I see us doing is primarily one of the areas, extraction operators, people with experience in working with extraction systems. We're running 2 systems. We're using a Vitalis R200 system out of Kelowna, and we're also using as a backup system, applied extract system, which comes out of California. So 2 different systems. They're both CO2, and that's a decision we made with the company in that we wish to be EU GMP compliant. That's how we built the facility. And so right now, of course, the ethanol systems are not EU GMP compliant. So we're solely CO2 based at this point in time. But people with those types of skills that had operational experience on that side would be interesting to us. Another thing that we're working upon is we're working in the direction of securing a major Government of Canada R&D grant in relation to our extraction. I'm not going to get into what specifically we're working on there, but we are working on some new leading edge opportunities. One of the I saw somebody just point out on the chat line there something about CO2 being being old school. There is some truth to it, but it is tried, true, and tested. It's far less impactful on the product, particularly on the oil, than an ethanol-based system, obviously. But there are some leading edge things, biological agents and different things that we have been looking into, and we have an R&D direction that we are planning to go in pursuing this grant. So we will also be looking for some people with the capabilities and the backgrounds that can help us there as well.
Excellent. We have questions, a few questions for people asking how to invest. You mentioned about.
Well, it's funny. I'll tell you a story. We've invested largely. We had a very loyal group of investors. I'm going to say it's 25 investors that have backed us from day one when we started about 2.5 years ago. We also, as I mentioned, the community's been tremendous. We've probably raised $2.5 million just directly from the community, and largely just friends and family of the four principals. But most recently, we were approached by a newsletter writer who writes a newsletter for specifically the cannabis space in the U.S. And he said, look, he had some interest in investing. Did we have any interest in working with him to do an investment out of the U.S.? And we had relatively few investors out of the U.S. And we thought, well, let's open that up now that we're on the cusp of going public. And we put out a financing, a private placement financing, and we were expecting that we might raise a couple $100,000 over the course of a couple of weeks from a couple dozen of investors, is what we were led to believe. And after a couple of phone calls with the company, and after the investors got familiar with what we were doing, we ended up with almost 300 investors and raised just under $2 million in a matter of 2 weeks. So extraordinary interest. That investment round, which is at 30 cents a share, is still open for investors into the company. So as I mentioned, we have about $20 million that's been invested into the company to date. And that investment round is being done at a $30 million valuation. So it's being done at a relatively modest premium to what's actually been spent on the facility.
Excellent. We have time for.
Sorry, Romain. I was just going to say, and if somebody is interested, they could go to our website. There's a link to the person that's managing it on behalf of our team and the company on our website, which is www.christinalakecannabis.com, and you'll find a link to the financing if anyone's interested.
Awesome, and we'll be sharing all the details. We'll be sharing also a point of contact for the company. We have many questions coming in. We're not going to have time to answer all of them, unfortunately. Maybe time for one last. What do you plan to do in the winter time in terms of growing cannabis?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So unlike indoor, you typically get 3 or 4 crops a year. Outdoor, we came into this expecting 1 crop a year. And keep in mind, we have approximately 20 acres right now that's been planted. We own almost 130 acres. So we have the capacity to expand as demand expands. We don't want to be like a lot of the indoor growers who built massive capacity without having the customers and the demand to feed that supply too. So we'll build our capacity as demand and interest comes in, not the other way around. So that's the direction that we've chosen to go in. But we have the ability over the course of the balance of the year. So we'll have extracted our crop largely by November. The 15 to 20,000 kilos that we extract this year will be extracted by November. And then what we have done is we have secured a dedicated supply of high quality hemp that's coming to us from Saskatchewan. So we'll process our hemp through the balance of the year. One other thing I'll just mention on the the single crop, what we found, we have our own genetics. So the genetics have been developed by our team of 4 principals, 2 of them master growers that have been growing in this area for 20 years. We have almost 130 outdoor strains that are our own, meaning only we have them. We have almost 700,000 seeds that we own within our seed and genetic bank. But what we found of the 6 strains that we planted this year, we knew that we would learn a lot this year, but we learned a lot more than we expected. One of the strains has been very, very prolific. In fact, what we now believe is that if we plant that strain a couple of weeks earlier, we started in June 1st is when we started putting the plants from the greenhouse out to the field. We feel that we can now take them out to the field next year about a week and a half to 2 weeks earlier, and that we can also cultivate them a week and a half earlier than we anticipated, which means that we have the possibility of actually turning 2 crops on an outdoor field. So we feel that next year we'll take a significant portion of our production and we'll put it into that one specific strain, and we believe that we'll get 2 turns on the crop, which effectively doubles the size of our operation. So from a financial aspect, our business is very lucrative. As I said, our cost, and this is our all-in cost through extraction, is in the neighborhood of 25 cents a gram. We believe that as we get better at it and as we increase our volumes, that we can get those numbers down substantially from that level. That we believe we can, cut our costs as much as 1/2 from that level. So gives us a tremendous advantage. I saw somebody had pointed out on the discussion board, I saw a cost go by for Cannabis. I actually know the principles of Cannabis. I'd be absolutely shocked if their cost is that low, but I mean, even if it is, it's still, at least 3 times our cost. I just don't believe that people are producing indoors for less than $1 a gram, but prove me wrong. I'd be happy to see that. So our financial picture is very, very strong. We're well funded. We have enough capital to take us through the next 12 months if we don't sell $1 of cannabis, which is highly unlikely, but we're very, very well funded. And from our pro formas and from what we believe that we're going to produce at and be able to sell at, we're very, very confident in our future.
Amazing. Joel, thank you so much for answering all those questions. Thank you for your time as well. We've had a very large audience today, so we're very happy that you were able to join us. Thanks, attendees, for asking all those great questions. Katie, over to you.
No, thank you. I personally worked very closely with Joel, while hiring for Christina Lake, and Joel, including the board of directors or the investors, the principal investors. It's just amazing company to work with. We've enjoyed every bit of working with Christina Lake so far. Great company, great people.
Great. Thanks so much, Katie. And you're going to share, obviously, my emails. I try and answer all my emails as quickly as they come in. It's a challenge, but anybody that has questions that I wasn't able to address those questions, please feel free to reach out, and either myself or somebody within my team will respond back. I assure you that.
Thank you, Joel. Absolutely. We'll be sending all the information about Christina Lake post the session today.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for the opportunity to speak to your audience, and wish you the best with the rest of the presentations.
Thank you very much, Joel. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Amazing chat and amazing company as well.